Well, hello and welcome to my world, folks. Welcome to Talk to Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I am Cedrick LaFleur, your host, and I'm excited to be here with you today. You know, Talk to Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. You know, our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables you to grow others. See, you can't give what you don't have. So first, you must grow yourself in order to grow others. Now, we believe that outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to help others. So tonight, we have another dynamic leader with us in-house. And, you know, every week I like to do a proper introduction of our guests. So let me properly introduce our guest for tonight. Carla Keibler is our guest in-house tonight, and Carla is a leader in mindset awareness and identifying self-limiting beliefs. She also specializes in helping women discover and embrace transformation in their unique passion and purpose. After struggling for many years in these areas herself, the pain she went through birthed a passion that has helped many women unveil their power and the beauty within themselves. She fervently believes that even from the depth of their brokenness, God can sow seeds of greatness. She is the queen visionary of Broken into Greatness and the president of Greatness Publishing. She is a dynamic, impacting speaker and a highly respected certified coach, speaker, teacher, and trainer who helps women transform their lives by converting their aspirations into realities. Let me say that again, by converting their aspirations into realities. I really like that. She is an executive contributor, writer for Bronze Magazine. She is the author of her soon-to-be released book called We Are Women of Value, which is faith-based in helping women transform their mindsets and life, and creator of the course called Discover a Remarkable Life of Passion and Purpose. So let's welcome Ms. Carla Keibler to the show.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be with you and to be on your show. I am so excited about being here with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show. So, you know, Carla, I read your bio, and I know you're part of the John Maxwell team as well as I. And but you know, our audience like to hear from you to bring your experiences and your journey to leadership to life for us. So, help us understand, how did you get to where you are today?
Well, my journey has been a lot of changing, question, developing, all that fun stuff, along with celebrations like most leaders do in their journey. You know, I grew up in a pastor's home, an evangelist home, and my parents and my siblings, we were involved a lot in leadership and everything that was involved in the church. We were a part of it. So my parents, they taught us how it was to be a leader. And I believe that leaders lead by example. And there's a lot of stuff that I have seen in the background with my parents, and also that I have experienced in myself along this journey, is the ups and downs and all the questionings, all the adjustments, all that stuff that goes with, you know, thinking you're not adequate enough, you're not capable enough, and not smart enough, all the things that goes with that, just the mindset that just kind of, you know, develops within you as you go, you know. And I got married, and my husband and I, we've been involved in leadership as well. So we have been involved in the youth ages. We've been event directors, teach leadership training, praise and worship leader, and leading committees and different stuff like that. So we're both speakers, teachers, and also ministers as well. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes along with being a leader. And so all the ups and downs that goes with it, all the building blocks, the stepping stones that you think, oh, this is not important, this is a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. So believe me, like, if you're developing yourself as a leader, you're going to have those times of adjustments and changing and developing. And so that's where I am. I go and I get to help people, you know, to help develop themselves, you know, and whatever purpose that God has for them. So that's where I am in my leadership right now.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about Greatness Publishing.
Greatness Publishing is it's a full service for book publishing. My partner Eli Gonzalez, we formed the Greatness Publishing together because we both have a desire to help people to know that they have a story to tell, because God put us on this earth, I believe, for a unique purpose. And each one of us have a story to inspire and impact others. And a lot of times people come to us and they're like, I don't think I have a story. I don't think there's anything that, that I could do to help people in their life. And they begin to tell me their story. And I would be like, wow, you have a story. But a lot of times when we go through things that we think it's our life, it's just normal. There's nothing particular about it. We could have people say bad luck or good luck or whatever it is in their life, but every one of us have a story. And that's what we want to do, is just tell people, it's worth sharing your experience, your knowledge, your expertise, to help people and to leave the legacy that you can leave this earth, because we have a short time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we are to use it wisely. And so that's what we do. We have a full service. We have certified ghostwriters. We have of all levels. We have senior editors that are amazing. And so we have a coaching levels up to ghostwriting. So the different levels that we have for options take the fear, the stress. We see the fear in people's eyes when they come to us, and it's like, oh, I can't do this. But that's what we're here for. We can take that fear and that stress out of expressing your story to the world.
Awesome. And so the target audience for Greatness Publishing and what's the number one goal?
The number one goal, of course, is to reach as many people as we can. And we want to get the word out that, that we are here for them, and that we are here to coach them, to help to express and to leave their legacy, and to be able to share their story. And one cool thing that we have about our book publishing company is 2 of our books are becoming movies this year. And so we're very excited about that. So people, not only they can read the books, but also now we can watch it if you're visual. So we have that as well. So we can reach people of different audiences.
Okay. All right. So that's exciting. Must be exciting to have 2 books coming out as movies.
Right. One's called Undaunting, and the next one is called Falling from the Sky. And one is about Undaunted, about a 14-year-old Jewish girl that her family didn't make it. They were killed, and so she had the life that she had to develop from there. And Falling from the Sky is about a man who was falsely accused and put in prison. So he had to deal with the fights inside the prison while fighting for freedom outside the walls of the prison.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on that. So what would you say that separates your business from other businesses in this industry?
Well, me, of course. Everybody's different. So it's me. No. But one thing I do have is I have a hybrid course, and that is for women, and it is called Discover a Remarkable Life of Passion and Purpose, which gives my clients, I can give them the one-on-one live coaching while they can have the strategic templates to really dig deep and question themselves and see what their passions are, their purpose, what they feel like they want to go toward. And so I want to be able to help people, because sometimes that we can get lost in the masses. Mm-hmm. And my whole goal is to be able to be there when they need it the most.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that definitely makes sense, and I can definitely understand that. I understand that Greatness Publishing has an event coming up here real soon.
Greatness Publishing does. It is the 45-day Write Your Book Challenge. It is amazing. Because like I say, there's been like over 30 years of experience. Eli had worked for one of the largest ghostwriting companies in the world, and he is a wealth of knowledge that comes out of him. So he kind of leads that, and then I'll be talking as well at different times along with different stuff that goes on during that time. But it's going to start September the 1st. Okay. And it goes to October the 15th. And so it's going to be like an hour, 2 hours. There'll be a specific time. If you want to know more information, you can go to the Greatness Publishing Facebook page, or greatnesspublishing.com for that information on that as well. But there's different levels that you can get, and it is a wealth of information. So it not only walks you through the chapters, but it kind of divides it up so you can get the most out of each chapter that you're doing. And we have had so many new authors. I think we had 20 out of the last group that we had for the challenge that became authors at the beginning of this year. So we're now going to do it again, and it's amazing. I mean, it is crazy, amazing that you think you can write the book, walk you through the book process, and then you go from that, you'll go through the editing part after that time period. But it is a great thing. So September the 1st for that one to October the 15th. So you can connect with me, and I can give you more details on that as well.
Wow. And you can just, for the audience, it's right in the comments. So you can just click on the link and go right to the page. And if you're interested in that, you can sign up and just click right on the link. So that has to be always a fun, but also busy time for anyone. Are they going to write a book in 45 days?
And write a book. I wrote my book. I've done a challenge before in 45 days. I had my book written. Like I say, after you write it, and because we give you the time to process it and you go through it. And of course, it's your book and it's altered, catered to what you're doing. Because we have ministry books, we have, people who wants to talk about their expertise. We have people talk about finances. So you can pick out of that, and we actually will help you develop your area, your expertise. So it's not like a one size fits all. I mean, the process will be good, but it is kind of catered also to the individual as well. But in 45 days, you can have a book written. I had my book written in 45 days.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, that's awesome. So audience, just click on the link and you'll have your book out here in 45 days. So you're also the queen visionary of Broken to Greatness Transformation. Okay. So tell us, what is that and what does that mean?
Well, Broken into Greatness was birthed in my heart during a pandemic. And because it's a ministry that has helped to women to inspire and empower the women to reflect their amazing, authentic value. Because I believe that a lot of women are held back in their past. They think the mistakes, the regrets, and things that happened to them undeserving, that it has caused them to be stuck where they're at. And to me, I want to help the women to know that even in spite of all those things that's happened in your past, and that God still has the great plans for you, that just because, we have made our mistakes, our wrong choices, we have made detours, but that did not change God's plan for our life. So we have to realize that we can go past and limiting beliefs that goes against us, to think, okay, well, I've done too much. I don't deserve a good life. And there's a lot of women that I have talked with, they don't think they deserve a good life. And so that's what my heart goes toward, to help the women to know that they have value. There's diamonds in there. There is, it's just birthed in there. It's like the caterpillar and a butterfly. It's hidden inside that dark, ugly shell, but there's something beautiful that's ready to come out. And so I help the women to realize that they have value and that they can get off that comparison carousel and stop serving on the committee of the blame game, and not live in somebody else's opinions of their own goals in their life, because they have value. And God wants us to live intentionally, to reframe our narrative that we have to ourselves, to sparkle and shine to the world, to know that we can make a difference and we can make that change. We have to start internally, but we can make that change.
Wow. I like that. So, when you're saying that, Michael Jackson has a song called Make That Change, right? Man in the Mirror.
Through the pandemic, and there's people who did not know who was looking at them in the mirror. And that's one thing that I've seen so many social media, all these things going crazy, that they don't know who they were. I mean, there's chaos going all around them. So, marriages was falling apart. They lost jobs. They was in chaos. And so their minds, they had to actually deal with who they were. How am I going to handle this? And so there's a lot of people who do not know who was looking back at them in the mirror. And so that's what I help people to understand, that you can see yourself as value.
Sure, absolutely. Well, folks. So in the comments, if you want to go to the Broken into Greatness page, you'll see it's on the screen, but it's also in in the comments, and she also has a Facebook page for that as well. And we just put that in the comments as well. So you have the website link, or you can go to the Facebook page. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen, but it's also in the comments. All you got to do is click and go. Of course, after the show.
Listen to us for a bit.
So why do you believe that this is important for women?
Well, I believe that women wear many hats in life. We're Jane of all trades, and we have to be the master of all, almost, is what we think. And so in the process that we lose ourselves as women. And so I believe that women are who they think they need to be instead of who they are meant to be. And there is, value within them. And I believe that once a woman knows that she's valued, she becomes unstoppable. I believe that it's just unstoppable force that just gets behind her, just propels her into greatness once she realizes her value. And unfortunately, a lot of women think that, they are being selfish if they think that, they are going for the goals and dreams, but it's actually the complete opposite, because I believe that once you take the time to develop and nurture who you are, that you can share your giftings more with others and be more effective as a result of that.
Yes, that is definitely true, and that's awesome. So you've been quoted as saying, "I believe that each one of us is searching for our unique purpose in our life." So
right.
Why do you believe that?
Well, I believe that is the most common asked question, is like, who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? And I believe that is an age-old question that, unfortunately, I believe a lot of people never find out. And I believe every person on this planet wants to feel loved. They want to feel heard, appreciated, and valued. And the search that they go through may be different ways, and they may go about it in different ways, in different methods. But I believe that we're all searching for that. And I believe that we all want to make a difference, and we are unique. And sometimes we don't see that uniqueness. And so I believe that we want to say at the end of our life that I'm glad I did instead of I wish I did, because we want to live a fulfilled life while making a difference in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad I did versus I wish I did. Right. I really like it. I have to write that down. I like that. All right. That's actually pretty good. I'm glad I did versus I wish I did. There's a lot of wishes that are in the graveyard every day, right?
Every day. I know. It's a sad place. I know it.
Mm-hmm. So how can people find their unique purpose?
I believe that people react to things in their life. I think they go around wishing and hoping, and hoping things are just going to change for them without responding with intentionality. And I believe that a lot of people accept their life instead of leading their life. And it's like we go through the hamster wheel of life, just round and around and around, and without having any life, any aim or purpose about where we are to start. So, I talk to women and I tell them if they want to see a change in their external world, they have to make a change in their internal world first. And to find the difference, to find your unique purpose, you need to reflect on what's going on in your life and where you are at that moment. And I believe that you can ask yourself questions like, what brings joy to your heart? What lights you up when you just hear the topic of someone talking about it and you just like, I must be in this conversation. Right. And you could do something for hours, but it only seems like minutes because you're just pretty good at it and you just enjoy it. And so you have to really reflect on inside and what it is that you're passionate about, what your purpose is about. One thing I think about is there's this young boy. He really, really was interested in playing the drums, but he was not very good at it. But he loved playing the drums, and he'd go out there and at the church, and he'd just bang all over those drums, just banging and making a joyful noise to the Lord, but to the ears, we would need earplugs. But he really, really, we could tell there's a passion about it. So he was really interested in it, and he, was not good at it at that time, but he was passionate about it.
Right.
So he had an interest, so he wanted to develop it. And so he took some lessons, and, over time, he got great to where he was absolutely amazing and became the drummer of a praise team. And all because he had a passion about something and he developed it and became great at it. And so I believe that, each one of us have different giftings that we may not be good at, but it's something in us. It's something passionate about it that we just want to develop, and we want to desire to grow into that gifting of it. And I believe that if you ask yourself a couple questions, and it's like, what am I passionate about and what am I good at? And I believe that those two are the same answers. And if you find those answers, then you can just know that it's worth discovering. It is a journey worth discovering, and you will find your unique and your wonderful passion and your purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. So what should women do in order, what should they do if they're struggling to find that their purpose or their voice?
Mm-hmm. Finding their authentic voice, I believe, is to recognize where you are currently, where you currently are in your life, and where you want to go. Because if they don't match up, there's something here that needs to change. Our mindset in our life needs to be in alignment with where we want to go. Because you can't stay where you are if you fully want to walk in your purpose. And if you want to grow in your purpose, you must be willing to grow into your purpose. So one thing, the first thing would be to give yourself grace along your journey, but don't sit in the seat of complacency. Because if you're giving yourself grace, you want to see growth in yourself as well. You don't want to just stay there and just, okay, this is how I want to be. But then also, I believe that your mindset creates your reality. So where your focus is and where is your life at, and where your focus is where your life will go. Right. So you can ask yourself, what are you putting your focus on? And so that will tell you where your life is going to go, right? So is this where your life, are you happy where you're at? Are you currently in a state where you want to be and you feel fulfilled? And if not, then you need to make changes, in your internal world, your mindset, into taking the direction of that you want to go. And the third one is I believe, is take your voice off mute. And too many times we give other people the microphone and say, here, our voice is going through someone else's opinions of us, someone else's how they say that we should be. We're good at math, we're horrible at math, we're great at art, whatever it is, we hear that. So we're giving somebody else the microphone of who we are and our passion and our purpose. We hear that program and just replaying. And so those limited beliefs that we have, I believe, it just keeps going through there. So our voice is not being heard, but somebody else has a microphone that their voices, we're speaking their opinions, we're speaking their voice through our own self. And I believe that God never put anyone else in charge of another person's purpose. And so I believe that if you, too many times that if we have the negativity going on and the word spoken over us, that we have to make sure that we pick up the microphone and say, we're not going to let the opinion of someone else become my identity and to speak through the microphone, but take the voice, take the microphone and speak with passion and purpose, and it will shine through. Once you see your value, you push through it. And I believe that your passion, what you're passionate about and your purpose, it will come through in the microphone and your voice will be heard.
Right. Absolutely. Love it. So we're talking with Carla Keibler, and she's dropping some gold here with us, folks. So, make sure that you get your pen. If you didn't, then just hit the rewind button once the show is over, and you can catch it again. Some really good stuff here with Carla tonight. So what made you decide to become an entrepreneur, Carla?
Well, to me, I know that time is a gift. And I want to be a good steward of my giftings and my talents that I was placed on this earth to do. So I want to make a difference and not just be here existing. I have a heart for the broken hearts, the broken spirit, and the brokenness, the people that deals with the past, and to let them know that they can have an extraordinary life of freedom and uniqueness. And so that's why I stepped out into the journey to become an entrepreneur, to be able to impact in any way that I can to help others.
Well, that is phenomenal. So I know that you're, because we talked about it before we went on air, you're a Christian. So what makes you smile every morning?
I smile just because I have a new day. Everybody, a new day, a new start, a new connection with people, a new day that I can just inspire someone else, whether it's a smile while I'm out to the store, or whether it's just an encouraging text or something like that. It's just those little small things. They make me smile, just that connection with people. And it just brings joy. And to let my family know that, I want to be an example to them. And to know that, it's never too late. You can always go for your goals and dreams, and to be an inspiration to others, and always keep going.
Well, that's fun. That's awesome. So, just a follow up on that. So, how does it make you feel at the end of the day? I know you get up in the morning, you get up and you smile, right? Because you have a new day. But at the end of the day, when you're looking back on your day and you say, man, I added value to this person and that person, and I did this, how does that make you feel?
Absolutely amazing. It makes me feel amazing because my whole goal is to help someone else, to be directed by God in everything I do. And say sometimes my day may not end, the way I thought it was going to start, but there's so much amazing nuggets in there that just absolutely blows me away throughout my day. And so at the end of the day, I just reflect and just, thankful that God has given me another day to just be able to inspire others.
That's inspiring someone else, encouraging someone else, adding value to them and making them feel good about their existence
Right.
is one of those things that just always uplifts people, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think is stopping people, or Carla, from being the best version of themselves?
I believe that false beliefs. I believe that self-limiting beliefs has people taking on the wrong identity, because I did that for many years. I had someone speak over me words in frustration, and may not even meant to be intended to attach itself to me, but it did for many years. And I was a young child with this little sponge brain that we have as a 7 or 8 year old child. We are just soaking it up. And so if someone says something to you that you look up to, that's older than you or whatever, then you soak up that. And so that limiting beliefs became my identity for many, many years, until I believed that I had to break that off of me to be able to become the speaker and the coach. Because, the thing was that the person told me to keep my mouth quiet. And so I should never speak. And so it's funny because I speak and I coach and I talk all the time. So once you break that off, it just brings freedom to you. And so I believe that if people can just understand to challenge the beliefs, if something's holding you back, challenge it. Why is it? Because I had to do that. If you feel like there's more in you, I want to go do this and I feel to do this, but I'm afraid to. It's like, why are you afraid to? I mean, what's stopping you? Why do you think you can't achieve this? What makes you think you can't do this? And so just challenge it. We all have our own giftings and talents, that's for sure. And we have to develop them, but we also have to challenge our belief system of, is it true for me? Can I keep going? Do I need to just swallow up and never come out of my shell? So you have to challenge those beliefs. And I believe that stops people from living the better version of themselves, and they can live in, a bondage, and just regret, by not really stepping out to who they were really meant to be.
Right. Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. So if a client just walked right behind you right now, and I say, Carla, one of your clients is standing behind you. What would they say about you and your service?
Well, I believe at first they would take a deep breath and they would say, I was finally in my safe place in judgment-free zone and seeing hope. Because I have talked to many women and they came from a place of hurt. They were deeply wounded, negative words of echoing through their mind, feeling undeserving of good things. But after we started talking, their bodies began to relax. Their facial features began to have a little smile on it. And you could see that they had hope in their eyes, and they did not have for a long time in their life. And so they were beginning to see transformation through the process that we have. And so thankful for the time that we had together, because, it was transformational for their life.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And well, that's good that your customers, your clients could say that they feel that they're in a safe, free zone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say has been the biggest challenge for you as doing your entrepreneurial journey so far?
I think for me, I always felt like a lone ranger. So I thought I had to do things on my own. And I know through all the entrepreneurship, you're going to have a lot of noise going on. There's going to be people bombarding you from every direction, want to tell you how to do it their way. And so, but you had to weed out that. But I just felt like a lone ranger. And so I had to, that was a challenge for me to know that, okay, I can reach out to someone else. I can be connected with someone else because I have weaknesses that's their strengths. And so that was something I need to learn. And also IT, the internet, the techno part of this is like, my husband has been a lifesaver for me many times. So that was a big challenge for me as well.
Wow. Well, that's good that you had that lifesaver, right? Everybody needs to have that lifeline that they can call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
that's true.
All right. So, this limitless life, right? I know earlier we talked about, people living their unique purpose. And I believe once you start living in this unique purpose and you understand your why, you start understanding this limitless life. So my question for you is, are you truly living a limitless life? And if so, how did you accomplish that?
Well, I believe this is a lifelong journey. I never want to say I have arrived because I always want to continue to grow. And however, I do believe that I have the mindset that allows me to go past the limits that I face at times, to know that for every obstacle, there's a solution. To every negative thought that tries to come against me, that there's a positive on the other side of that doubt. And for every battle, there is a victory, whether big or small, because I believe there's no small celebrations when it comes to this. I believe that, we need to celebrate the small steps in order to be able to grow into the bigger steps and always continue to grow throughout a life, to always to be able to grow and develop and to conquer. So to live a limitless life is a mindset. I believe that, we have to believe that if there's a negative coming against us, there's a positive that's going to be on the other side of that doubt that keeps you going.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to be ready to live that limitless life, because if you're not, then you know what, it's going to show up, but you won't, it won't come into your consciousness because you're not ready for it.
Right. Preparation. That's like I say, I don't think it, if you're going to go to a boxing match, those boxers are not going to get to that ring without practicing. They're going to, hours and hours, they're going to be there because they don't want to get beat while they go into that ring. So it's the same thing with us as a leader. We have to prepare before. We have to, put in the time to study and to prepare our mindset. And then when we get into a situation, then we're prepared and ready for it and grow from it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. So, Carla, we have a segment on the show that's called Would You Rather? So we're going to play a little round of Would You Rather. All right. So here we go. Would you rather meet your great grandparents or your great grandchildren?
I say great grandchildren.
Okay. All right. And so, audience, you can follow along. You can answer these as well. Just type your responses in the comments. It's amazing, but very few people say go meet their great grandparents. They all
yeah, we want to stay here to meet the great grandchildren, reflecting the grandparents, right?
Yeah. Would you rather have a life rewind button or a life pause button?
Rewind. There's a lot of things I like to change. So I rewind it so I could just develop a little quicker than what I did. So I learn a little less, a little quicker.
All right. Would you rather no one show up at your wedding or no one show up at your funeral?
Probably my wedding. At least if it comes to my funeral, I guess they think I've made some kind of impact in my life,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Although you won't know, right?
No, right? You won't be there, but
So would you rather be stuck in an elevator or stuck on a ski lift?
And on a ski lift. I love anything up. Yep. I love it.
All right. Would you rather go to dinner alone or to a concert alone?
A concert.
Concert?
Yep.
All right. Would you rather be an adult your whole life or a kid your whole life?
I'd say an adult. Yeah.
An adult. All right. Would you rather be a pirate or a ninja?
A ninja. A ninja. Yes, I like
You
that.
said that pretty quick. So would you rather fulfill your biggest wish or resolve your biggest regret?
Probably solve my biggest regret.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have free Apple products forever or free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
Free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi. Okay. All right. Last one. Would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
I would say probably the real money. I say real money. So I would invest it. I would do stuff and get it going so that I have more so I can help other people.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for playing that round of Would You Rather.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Thank you. So, good leaders, Carla, ask great questions.
Mm-hmm.
What has been some of the best questions that either you have asked or someone has asked you and you went, wow, that's a really great question?
The question is, why not? It's a simple question, and it sounds like a simple question, and it is. But and I say that because there's a lot of great questions out there. But this one was one that comes to my mind that somebody asked me because I had done a challenge a little while back, and I was doing a challenge to help people with their mindset, the habits, limiting beliefs, and all that stuff that was involved in that challenge. It was a 14-day challenge, and I believe, I just, in my mind, I was thinking, I'm hoping to help them. I'm hoping somebody get something out of this. And through the whole process, I just spewed information, galore out there, just kind of spewed all over. I probably overloaded. They had, spew all over them from all the information I was trying to give them. But I just wanted to impact them. And so, and that's what I did. And that's what my whole goal was. And then after the challenge was over, about a week later, I was talking to one of my friends, and so she was asking how the challenge went, and I told her, people gave great responses. They said, the things that I said changed how they communicate with people and how they thought about themselves, their self-talk. And she goes, so, okay, so then did you give them any offers for your coaching or anything after that? And I'm like, no, I didn't. She goes, well, why not? May I ask why not? And so that hit me because my whole goal is, I want to help people. So I could have extended, if I had the right mindset myself, I could have offered them, more of a service that could change their life even more. But it was my mindset that was thinking, well, nobody's going to buy it, nobody's going to think this is good enough, to put into the life. And even though I got great comments throughout it, I still didn't, in my own mindset, thinking it was not something people would pay for to do that one. And so I didn't offer it. And so that made me question myself, like, why not? Well, why didn't I? So I had to challenge myself to where now I can do that. But that was my first one of doing a challenge, and it just, why not, just kind of hit home with me. I'm like, well, why didn't I? So that's a simple question, but that's one came to mind.
Sure. Yeah, I like that question. So, also around leaders, leaders come in with different strengths and different packages, right? So give us 2 or 3 leader strengths that you think are important.
I believe leading by example, I think, is having the right mindset to know that, if you're going on a journey, you want to take the people with you on a journey. So you must have a approachable character, with integrity and everything. But I believe that is very important to have, an approachable attitude, an approachable, persona, whatever you want to call it, around you, because you don't want to lead people. You're not going to lead people if they're afraid to approach you. So to me, I think that's a very important one, because I've been around people and they've not been approachable. So you just kind of like, okay, you just go with, don't bother them. They're not going to listen to you. And so it's really not a leader to me. So I think that's very important, to be approachable, and also just to have, listening ear, because we may think we have the answers, we may have the vision, but what about somebody says this comment that's going to improve your vision? You know,
Sure.
so to have that listening ear, I believe is very important to be able to have a growth, not only for your vision, but for the team as well.
Sure. Yeah. Well, those are great leader strengths. So thanks for sharing those with us. I definitely appreciate that. Carla, being an entrepreneur is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world, right?
Right.
And so many times entrepreneurs give up. They throw in the towel.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who might be listening right now, or they may be listening to the recording of this later, but they're ready to throw in the towel right now? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Well, one thing I would say is if you give up after all that you've invested in yourself, your business, your time, your energy, what will your life return back to? I mean, so you started this entrepreneur journey just so you could, you're passionate about something. You wanted to see a change in something in your life or someone else's life, whatever you are doing, and we are going to face struggles. We're going to face challenges and setbacks. All that is a gimme when you're in your entrepreneur. It's just going to happen. But you have to have if you're really passionate about it, you're really going to have a no matter what mentality. And by having that, I believe that you're going to see great rewards more than you ever thought you ever could. So the thing is to not give up. And it's like, you can have more than you could ever imagine. And to know that success, it's different for different people. So unfortunately, a lot of times people think that they want a microwave result. And so we're going to start now. It's going to happen tomorrow. But
Right.
that's not the case. When it comes to this, it's not going to happen that way. So it's more like a slow cooker. If you have a slow cooker, it's like you gain experience, you gain wisdom, you gain insight, and that will help you to be more effective in your giftings that you have. Because I look back on my journey, and yes, I would like to have microwave results, but I know that if I had those results, I would not have been preparing myself for success. It will fail if you're not preparing yourself. So I believe that if you have a no matter what mentality, it's going to take a little time, a little growth, but you got to prepare yourself. But it is definitely worth it, because you have to realize if you stop now, that all the time and effort that you put into what you really want to see the change, that what your life going to go back to.
Right. Absolutely right about that. Right. So what do you think is the driving force in your life right now?
Driving force in my life is I want to make a difference, in people's life. And I believe that, for myself, I want to, like I said earlier, I want to be an inspiration to my family, to my children, to my grandchildren, to know, look at here, mom or grandma has never gave up, she's went for her dreams. And if I had stayed in the place where I was at, I would have not have experienced the life I have now. So I want them to know that their dreams and their goals is worth going for.
Yes, you got to go for the goal, go for the gusto. You got to go make it happen every day. So what would you say is the biggest thing you learned from a mentor in the last, 6 months or so?
This is a friend, Travis. He's a mentor. He's a guy that I've got connected with. And the thing that I have learned is you don't have to be in the Red Sea. And the Red Sea is the shark frenzy, panic, and anxiety, thinking I've got to, connect with everybody in this world because, if they don't listen to me, who's going to listen to me? I must get everybody. So it's like a frenzy, so that's the Red Sea, the blood, the panic that's going on in your business. And then, so of course that causes a little chaos in your mind as well, because you have panic. Anxiety is not good for anybody's body. And so the thing is to get out of the Red Sea and you're into the blue sea, which is the calm, and to know that the right person that you are to help, the right person that you are to connect with, that your paths will cross, that just be guided in your day and go with your heart, go with your passion, and you will end up flowing into, the connections that you need to have. So it's kind of stay out of the Red Sea and get into the blue sea.
Yes, I like that. And I'm actually just writing that down. So, we have a few minutes left here and just a couple more questions. But so let's, what I want to do now is there's no one home. The husband's gone, the children's gone, grandkids are gone, the cat, the dog, the fish even left for the day. All right. All right. So it's just you and your four walls. What dessert are you going to grab?
I am going to grab a peanut butter pie.
Okay.
I love anything peanut butter, anything caramel. So if there's anything Reese Cups peanut butter, I will grab that. That's going to be in my plate.
That's going to be the dessert you're going to grab. Okay. All right. You know, having a mentor is always important, and they can help you look at things in different perspectives, right? But on the other side, then we have to also mentor people,
right?
So what's been some advice that you've given someone that you've mentored recently?
The thing is just the things that in our past, they do not have to predetermine our future. And so we have to realize that we have to give ourselves grace, and that we need to grow, because we can sit here in complacency. We can just have fear and anxiety all day long. But if we don't have the intentionality to see ourselves grow to the better version of ourselves, then, we're going to stay stuck. We're going to stay in stuck mode. We're not going to have the life that we were created to be. So I believe, with me, I tell women, that they need to, to see their value, and to know that, it's worth going for, that you have to see that value, and somebody else might not see it, that you're with. And so you have to realize that there's a purpose and a passion that's within you for a reason. And so you have to really stand up for that passion and purpose sometimes, and others may not agree with it, but you do everything in love and respect. I am all about love and respect, but you have to also give your passion and purpose a voice. So that's what I have told them lately, when I do throughout the time, but I, tell them to stand up for their passion and purpose, and to give it a voice, to do things with the love and respect that God has, to reflect his love through it all. But we do have to be kind of set boundaries, and we have to do all that stuff within our time frame that we are here on the earth, just so we can fulfill and use our time wisely.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. So, you've had a lot of successes, and we talked about some of those tonight. But let's think about a time where you failed, right? And we've all had failures.
Right.
But what did you learn, from that failure? How did you overcome it, one, and then what did you learn from it?
One thing that comes to mind is my husband and I, we were approached by a radio station that they wanted us to do a podcast show. And so, I don't know anything about the technical stuff and all that stuff. And my husband wasn't familiar with that part of the stuff that they was wanting us to do. So we just tried to figure it out. We just trying to keep going on what we knew to do. And so it ended up till we didn't do it. And so the thing I learned from that is, again, not to be the Lone Ranger, that we had people that we could have reached out to that was familiar about that, and we have one of our good friends owns a radio station, for goodness sakes, we didn't even think about asking him. I was like, really? But, so it really got me hard, because I felt like, to me, that was a failure, because there were so many people we could have reached otherwise, by doing that. So we really worked hard on trying to figure it out. But I think that just not by knowing our connections and knowing that we could reach out to somebody else, I felt like it was a failure to me, that we just didn't do more. There's always something more that we could have done. And so it just didn't work out. But that was something like a lesson that I had to learn, that not to be a Lone Ranger, but just to go with strengths that other people have,
Right. Yeah. The law of significance, right? One is too small a number to achieve greatness.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. So last question I have for you is, actually second to the last question. So the question I want to ask is, if someone wanted to get in contact with you, how could they, get in contact with you?
They can go to my website, which is brokenintogreatness.com, or I do have a Facebook, Broken Into Greatness. And I have the Greatness Publishing Facebook group, and then also a greatnesspublishing.com. So either one of those, you can reach out to me, and I will get in contact with you. Anything that you need to contact about, the challenge, or, coaching and speaking, whatever it is, you can reach me on either one of those.
Okay, awesome. And all those links are right in the comments. They're scrolling across the screen right now, but you could also click on the link in the comments section. So last question for you is, Carla,
Mhm.
if there was a book that was written about you, what would the title be? And what will be said in the back of the book in a summary?
The title would be, I'm Glad I Did. It would say Carla Keibler had goals and dreams that lingered in the shadow of her dream or of her soul. As a young girl, she was painfully shy and spent many years being quiet and living in the pain of her silence. And she began to challenge her limited beliefs that held her back for many years and broke that off of her. And because of that, her life was transformed. And so she was able to transform not only her life out of that cocoon, but the beauty that God had within her, the beautiful butterfly that soared, was able to help other women to be transformed as well and to strip away any limitations and to soar without limits.
Wow. Absolutely love that. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I definitely, well, that's awesome. So folks, thank you for tuning in every night when you tune in. I definitely appreciate you tuning in. I know that you have options. Remember, we have Talk Leadership with Cedrick Thursday edition coming up this Thursday. We have an exciting guest for you. And Friday morning, remember, it's always Friday mental motivation. It's going to be 8:30 Friday morning, and you know we're going to bring it hard and fast to you at 8:30 Friday morning for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to go on and let you end your week out strong and get ready for a long holiday weekend. I want to tell you folks, the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. The only difference between winning and losing is belief. The only difference between hot water and boiling water is 1 degree. You see, at 211 degrees, water's hot. At 212 degrees, water boils. With boiling water comes steam. With steam, you can power a train. The only difference between a person reaching their full potential and not reaching their full potential is desire. So go out and you have an extraordinary day, life, week, month, year. It's just so important to do that. And remember, as I always tell you, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and don't be on the menu. Thank you guys, and good night.